What's up, guys? Just getting stuff ready for the elk season coming up. I know a lot of you guys have expressed interest in like, what is my gear, how am I carrying it? And I thought as I was going through the pack this morning, I'd take a second and just show you the base items in my pack. So minus some extra water and some snacks, this is what I'm carrying in my pack. So you may notice right off the bat, this is not a lot of stuff. And that is how I believe you should be trying to do all of your things if you're putting on a lot of miles every day. So not in this picture is the elk gun. Obviously I'm gonna have that with me with a mag of whatever, but no extra gun stuff here. Got the pack right here, and okay, let's just go through the items that I carry. So I'll start on this side and just kind of go around. Off the bat, I think if you are hiking, like backcountry anywhere, it really just in general, if you're out and about, you ought to have medical stuff on you. So here's the medical kit that I carry in my pack. I've got a naso tube. This is this is an H bandage. They are helpful, useful stuff. This is Celox gauze. The combat gauze works. But a clotting agent in a gauze. Boom, got that. A pair of halo chest seals here, and I have a cat tourniquet. So all of this goes into one of the front pockets, like it's right there, ready, easy to access. I don't have to dig through the pack to get it. So yeah, that is the emergency medical stuff. Inside the pack, like usually at the bottom of the pack, or I don't really care about quick access for this, but this is boo-boo kit, right? It's medical stuff and comfort items. So at the top of this, because it's most likely to be used, I've got toilet paper. Below that, I've got an inhaler because I'm an asthmatic, and as you can probably hear in my voice right now, I'm struggling a little bit. I'm sick and respiratory, whatever. So sorry if my voice is all messed up, but asthma meds reminded me to tell you guys. I've also got so in a pill jar, I've got my multivitamins that I take every day in there, just in an old pill jar. And I've got some other pills. So I keep caffeine tablets in there, anti-diarrheal meds, because that's a big deal if you are like miles away from the nearest great place to drop one, then you probably don't want to have diarrhea. So yeah, anti-diarrheal is in there. I also keep iodine tablets in here as like a last-ditch water purification, like emergency thing. Some ibuprofen, some acetaminophen, some Claritin, like just allergy relief stuff, and some Benadryl. I keep antibiotic cream in there, and then Band-Aids, just regular boo-boo size Band-Aids. I don't think I've ever used one of those. I've given them out, but yeah, it's nice to have. And then I have 2 or 3 large pads, gauze pads. I have used those. So I've slipped on a trail and caught myself on a tree and just raked a big piece of my skin off, just like strawberry. And those pads, yeah, putting that over, taping it up, way better than a Band-Aid could do. So yeah, that's about it for the boo-boo kit. Not a lot in there, but there's a lot of the pills specifically. They've saved my ass, guys. Doing big miles, and you get 8 miles hike back into nasty woods, and you sit down for a minute. At least for me, sometimes standing up, that is when I realize how beat up I am. Having some Tylenol on you is a big deal. So yeah, boo-boo kit there. I've got one of these bottles, smart water bottles, but usually I carry 2. I actually don't care if they're filled with the Ultralight enriched smart water, but they're great water bottles. The form factor here and how light these are, it's 1 liter per bottle. They're excellent. If you haven't done any ultralight backpacking stuff or looked into that, everyone that I know that's really into that uses those bottles for a reason. They're great. Yeah, I carry 2 liters with me. I don't carry more water. I know a lot of people carry more than 2 liters of water with them. Here's my thoughts on that. In the morning, if it's a morning worth living, I'm waking up and I'm drinking 1 liter of coffee, or close to it, a lot of coffee. That's got a lot of water in it, right? That's 1 liter of water that I've downed in the day. I'm drinking about 4 liters a day, so I've got 1 done before I'm on the trail. I've got 2 liters on me on the trail, and then at night, with dinner before bed, I'm always drinking at least another liter of water. So yeah, 2 liters is as much as I would ever consume on the trail, because I can, just in the time that I'm drinking coffee in the morning or when I'm back at camp in the evening, that's plenty of time to smash at least another 2 liters of water. So 2 does it for me. I keep these on either side of the pack when it's nice out, and then when it's cold, I can actually slip these in a jacket on top of a hip belt in the armpits, and that keeps them thawed. That's a big deal, and one of the reasons why I don't like to use the camelbacks or the platypus bags anymore. I was never a fan of the camelback system. I did like the platypus bags. I've used those for years, and in the summer I think they're all right. They're always kind of a pain in the ass to clean. That's one of my gripes about them. And the tubes always seem to kink for me. Like they always get pinched up, and then I have to take the pack off and untangle the tube to get a drink of water. That's kind of a pain in the ass to me. The biggest reason why I don't run them hunting is because we get a lot of days where the high is 5 degrees, and even with a insulated tube cover, your tube freezes solid. So you have to run the tube out of your bag and then immediately in your jacket and like against your body, otherwise you can't drink water. That sucks. I've tried that and still had the tube freeze at like the little point where it comes out of my jacket and back into the backpack. I'm not a fan. Yeah, also just refilling and camp maintenance of the platypus bag. Like you get back from going out for the morning hunt, and then you set your bag down, you're doing other stuff during the day, and then the next thing you know, like, oh wait, let me go check on my bag, and all of a sudden your platypus bag is frozen solid. That's a pain in the ass. At least with these, I can keep like a few extras on hand that aren't frozen solid, and like keep them, I can rotate them out. If one breaks, then whatever, and keep some empties and fill them up. That's a lot easier than having one dedicated bag. Yeah. So that's why I use these over the platypus system or the other like sippy tube systems. Yeah, they're nice. Moving on, I've got all this stuff right here. So this emergency medical stuff is in my like left pouch here, and then this stuff right here is in my right pouch here. These are kind of the items that I will want on hand more frequently. So first off, and the one I access the most is my headlamp. This thing is really old. It keeps going. This is the Surefire headlamp. I don't know how many years I've had this, but it just keeps going and going. They eat batteries kind of fast. The CR123 I think is not the greatest battery anymore, but it was for the time. Here's the reason why I like this. This headlamp is the only one that I know of that has this dial knob where you can choose from 5 lumens to whatever the highest lumens are on. This is probably only like 200 lumen light, but from 5 all the way up and everywhere in between. When I use this lamp, 99% of the time I'm using it at 5 lumens to like 25 lumens. Not a lot. And it's really nice to be able to just dial up just that little bit because I don't want to be blasting a whole bunch of light on the trail when I'm walking in. We're hitting the trail at like between 3:30 and 4:30 in the morning, and it is pitch black. But here's the reality, guys. People who are obsessed with night vision, people who are obsessed with like flashlight shit, been hiking in on these trails that are far enough away from any city where it's truly pitch black if there's cloud cover. And when there is cloud cover, I can hike with 5 lumens. I can do everything I need to do and get where I need to go with 5 lumens. If there's any kind of starlight though, and I'm not in like, even in the dark timber we're in, the starlight is generally enough light for me to hike on a game trail. I'm not talking about a well-maintained trail. I mean, I can keep myself on a narrow, not so beaten out game trail with just starlight, and I'd much prefer to do that. So yeah, headlamp is there for when it's like totally overcast, or if it's like the nightmare scenario where we shoot an animal at sunset and you're processing an animal in the dark. I carry this. It works. It's worked for years. It's the only Surefire light that I own, and the only Surefire light that I've used that I was like, this is the best for the application. But there it is. I carry 2 spare CR123s for it because they do tend to eat batteries. Like I can tell you right now, that one is dead. It's just dead from sitting over the year, right? So yeah, but it's a good light, comfy, adjustable, good to go. Big lighter, pretty self-explanatory. You're in the woods. I'd rather have a big lighter on me than like a fire steel or waterproof matches or any of that stuff. Yeah, gun lighter, it works. Bics are good to go. The only cautionary note I would say on this is I have stored these lighters with like some water purification chemicals, and I've had the chemicals leak onto the lighter, and the lighter just cracks out, explodes, and it's done. So don't put the lighter with anywhere where it could get wet or get other chemicals on it. But yeah, other than that, they're like bomb-proof. Big lighters, everyone does that. I keep a compass. I don't really, I can't think of a time where I've used the compass and I needed to use the compass. I have used the compass for fun. I used to be a little bit of a land nav nerd. I think that stuff is really fun and cool to do. The compass is useless without a map generally, so if you have a map in your head, I guess, okay. But I keep a map of the area that I'm hunting. I'll keep that in the pocket with this stuff. I don't have the map here because we've got a few maps of areas that I'll be hunting this year. Yeah, but the map will go in there with this. And then should the technology that I have fail, because I'll be rocking the iPhone with me, and I will have one of the many apps for GPS and hunting up. If that were to fail though, I can shoot an azimuth based on the map and then get to safety if I got lost. One of the emergency things, I like to keep it with me though. Next up, This is a comfort item for sure, but I've got toothpicks. The doctor's brush picks they are the bee's knees. These are the Mercedes-Benz of toothpicks, guys. I chewed for a long time, and some of the guys I hunt with still do, and this keeps me from falling back into bad habits. But also, like, the stuff I'm eating on the trail, or out just during the day, it's like nuts and raisins and jerky and like all the crap that gets stuck in your teeth and annoys you for the entire day. Great to have a toothpick there. So, 2 zip ties. These are just really simple. They're for securing the tag, my hunting tag to the animal. Should I down an animal? Yeah. This guy, shoehorn. This one actually gets use. This one's new because I bent and scratched up and destroyed a previous one. But this is not to put my shoes on. This is to dig a hole to poop in. It works way better than digging with your hands, or I've seen people try and do it with like the tips of a hiking pole. Not a fan of that. It just doesn't do great for me. People say just find a stick. Yeah, at like 11,000 feet, where there's snow on the ground and the only sticks around that are easily accessible are like soft pine boughs. No, I would rather have this tool. So yeah, I can dig a hole to poop in with this. That is good to go. It's good to not have to look for those digging implements when you need to go poop. So there it is. This one works. Is another one that I stole from, I think, some ultralight backpacking forum. I used to be a nerd for ultralight backpacking, and yeah, I like this. Under that, I have a Right in the Rain pad to, write down my emotions and my deep feelings for you guys while I'm out there. Also, it holds my mirror. My mirror's old and scraped up, but you can still see in it. So yeah, it's my mirror in there for all of the survival rescue stuff that you could use it for. And also just to, if I just want to check myself out, make sure that I'm still looking cool while I'm out hunting, it's important to do. Next to that, I've got some ties and some stuff. So I used to have like half a dozen of these, maybe a dozen of these, but just little lengths of shock cord. They are really handy. The reason why I only have 2 left right now, and I'll have to replenish the pack, is because they get used. If you have a ruck on, you've got a gun, and you've got other stuff hanging off of you, and you're hiking along and you've got something that just keeps clanking or squeaking or whatever, these little ties are great, the shock cord specifically, to just grab it and like tie that piece up so that it doesn't do the annoying thing that it's doing anymore. That's why I keep those. That's why they're short lengths. Like, they're just long enough to do the thing. I guess I could keep a whole roll of this, but it seems like overkill. So that's why I got these, a few lengths of that to just tie that stuff down. I've got, I'll talk about this in a second, but I've got just a bundle of regular old paracord. Orange or blue are my preferred colors. Blue, I think, is actually more visible than orange, but everyone sells orange. So yeah, there it is. Paracord for tying game bags up after you're taking apart an animal and like you're filling the game bags. You don't want to lay them down on the ground, so you tie them up in a tree. Those help. I've got nano cord. You can also use this. It's strong enough to like hold a game bag up, or you just fix all of the little stuff. This cord and this cord can also be used for markers. This is probably better for like a trail marker. If you're gonna hike back and make multiple trips out while you're packing an animal out, tying a little bit of this to the trees on your way back out to the nearest trail. Yeah, that helps sometimes. Even when you GPS ping where you down an animal on the way back, especially when it's dark, sometimes it's like, where the hell is that? So having these is nice. They sell paracord with a little bit of reflective bit on them in the orange, and that is helpful too. Not just the orange, but the orange with the spiraled silver reflective band in it, because when you hit it with a headlamp, it actually lets you know. So I like that stuff. All right, so this guy, this is an emergency blanket. It will work as an emergency blanket, but I will use it for other stuff. So if I needed to like lay down a tarp just to keep something from getting all dirty on the ground, whether that's meat or like someone's hurt and I'm trying to look at them or whatever, can lay that down, lay something on top of it. That's nice as a ground cover. It's nice as just like to throw over stuff. So if I bag an animal, like, bone it out, game bag it, and hang it up, I might want to put this over some of that if I think it's going to like rain or snow overnight. Yeah, a lot more uses for an emergency blanket than just your like emergency that you think of when you read the back of the label. So maybe I would say I'd encourage you guys to take these out of the bag and actually use them once in a while. And even if you want to carry 2, like, they weigh nothing. So carry 1 to actually use and play with and see how much utility you can get out of a thin sheet of plastic with tinfoil on it. And yeah, I think you guys will find that they're actually a pretty useful piece of kit. Most of the time they just sit in people's bags and they never even make it out of the wrapper though, so people don't know. Yeah, there's that. I guess that's an emergency item. Here's the thing. When I'm out there, like when we're hunting, where I'm hunting, the time of year that I'm hunting, it's like around 11,000 feet in the start of winter, like late fall, early winter. It's cold as shit. So I'm already in all of the cold weather gear. This Could it help? Sure. Could it be like a really quick makeshift shelter aid? Sure, but it's a utility item, guys, for me. So yeah, there's that. I'm gonna move this over. I'll talk about these shears here in a second. I've got a Sawyer water filter. I have used chemical purifiers in the past, so like the drops, multiple brands of drops, they all kind of work the same. They're all fine. They taste fine. I mentioned it when I mentioned the lighter, that I've had those drops leak. I've had those drops leak out in my pack more than once, even on bottles that I had never opened before. So I don't know what it is, but I trust those drops less now because of that. The Sawyer is good. Like I've heard that the drops are better when it's like freezing out, because these filters can crack in the cold. I'll talk about that in a second, but I don't know, guys. Maybe what's happening is the drops are freezing and it's breaking the seal and they're leaking out. Either way, it's not working for the cold weather stuff that I'm doing. So I'm carrying the Sawyer. I'm carrying a Sawyer that is a dried filter. That is important. If you like use this filter and then plug it back up, just know that there's going to be moisture in there. And then when this hits freezing, that water is going to expand. It's probably going to break the inner filter, and you're probably not going to be getting purified water anymore. It's probably just letting through all of the garbage. So this is a virgin Sawyer filter here, with the exception of, I broke the cap. But a virgin Sawyer filter, so that I can use it or have it and store it in a bag that is going to freeze. And if I use this while it was like on the trail, while it was frozen, because these will actually, the reason why I like these filters is they screw on to all the good bottles. So yeah, I could drink all this water, fill it up with garbage water, use this filter, keep this filter attached, and then keep this in my jacket, like against my body, and that would keep it from freezing in that weird like emergency apocalypse situation. But yeah, it would still work in the cold as long as I kept it next to my body and kept it from freezing. So there it is. There's the water filtration. Like I said, I also carry iodine tabs in here as that last ditch thing, but it's like really tail end risk stuff, so I don't think it's super important. So I've got my knife here. This is a Benchmade. In the past, I have used Moras, so I've used multiple blades. The blade that I've used the most for like, dressing out game is the Moras, the cheapo Moras, like the base model $8 Mora knife. It's great. My biggest gripe with those knives is the blade is too long. And then I've also used the little tiny Mora. I've actually processed an entire elk with one of those like 1.5 inch blade Mora knives. And that was great. That blade was just a little bit too short. Handle design on it was comfy. Everything was great on it. If it was an inch longer, even a ½ inch longer in the blade, it'd be perfect, but whatever. The Mora blades, they work well. Their stainless blades work well. Just the base carbon steel though, that works great. And they hold an edge pretty all right, but they take an edge really, really well. And that's a big deal. Edge retention is on blades. I know there's probably a lot of knife nerds watching this, so edge retention is less important to me than just the ability to quickly whip a really fine edge onto a blade. Because I know if I'm going to be processing an animal, if I'm gonna like be quartering an animal out in the wilderness, I know that I need a super sharp knife to do that, and that no matter what that magic steel of that blade is, I'm going to have to sharpen it more than one time in the process of quartering an animal. So yeah, something I can whip an edge on quickly is important to me. We'll see. I've liked the S30V steel blades, and like I've used the S35V, and I like both of those, and I can sharpen them pretty easily, pretty quickly on the trail with minimal tools. But yeah, this is the Benchmade. It's an S30V blade. It's their like ultralight hunter. We'll see. I haven't actually processed an animal with this, but it's about the same weight and size as the Moras. It just felt a little bit better in the hand. The blade profile, that thick blade there, I like more than the Moras, mostly because I'm doing a lot of processing on an animal, like a lot of cutting on an animal, like this, with this grip, pinching up on the blade just to get a little bit of the tip of the blade in there. I'm lifting a quarter up, and I'm getting in there, whereas I don't really want to be exposed with all of this out there, because it's a lot easier, even with a finger on the back of the blade, it's a lot easier to accidentally poke in and get a gut sack with this than it is with this, in my opinion. So when I am quartering animals, we will always use the gutless method where I'm at, the people I'm with. Most of the people I've hunted with have also taken apart people for a living for a long time, so they know how to cut and do it right and be safe and do it precisely with surgical precision and stuff like that. Yeah, so like it works out. Doing the gutless method and then just being careful and getting a blade that you can choke up on. Funny enough, the first year that we went out, I actually had a handful of scalpels, just like, it didn't work, but it was what we were used to, so. Yeah, that's the blade. I only carry the one blade, like, in the pack, on my body, I'm always gonna have a pocket knife on me, and the utility pocket knife of choice for me right now is the Benchmade Bug Out. I've only recently just started to try the Benchmade stuff, so I'm not gonna go all out on a recommendation there. I know the Bug Out is a really lightweight knife. which is nice to carry. It's really probably not a heavy use knife, although I feel 100% confident that I could easily process an entire elk with that bug out if I had to. I'm not talking about just quartering the animal. I'm talking about like quarter it, take the hide off, bone it out, bring it back, hang it up, and then even like do the slicing and the actual sectioning of the quarters with it. You just don't need all of this knife that people think that you do. Anyway, between those two blades, I'm sure we'll get it done. There's a little bit of redundancy there, but yeah, that's what it is. Next to the knife, I have this guy. This is a 1-inch belt for a 1-inch belt grinder. This is a 1,000 grit belt. That's all I bring to maintain the blade. So I said that during processing that animal, during quartering that animal out, we will dull multiple blades or dull a blade multiple times. This is how I refresh that blade. I'll hang this on a branch or off of a strap on my pack or on my belt line, pull this out, and then I just strop the blade on the 1,000 grit. And within 10 seconds of stropping that, it'll whip a hair popping edge back on that knife. So yeah, real easy one, real lightweight. I know there's guys who take stones. The reason why I prefer a strop over a stone is you can be a lot less precise and a lot quicker moving with a strop versus stone. Same kind of thing like that you see butchers. They will either hang a strop off of their belt or they'll use a rod. Both the rod and the strop are less, like you can be less precise with those in your sharpening and just whip a blade back over it than you can be with a stone. A stone, or like any of those flat, wide surfaces that are hard to sharpen, you actually have to have your angles just right, otherwise you're gonna mess that blade up. Whereas the strop's a lot more forgiving. So that's what I use. Guys, I don't know if I said it, but I'm sick. Sorry, I know you probably hear my voice. It is what it is. All right, so medical shears. You'll notice that these are not with the medical kit. These are not part of the medical kit. I don't use these for emergency first aid. These are my preferred device to hide an animal. Like, you go up and you pinch the skin by the spine, and then you insert your blade in just, by the back straps. This is how I will do this in the gutless method. You create a little incision there where you can't easily puncture gut sac. And then you take your shears in there and you zip them down the spine and you fold it down, or if you want to try and preserve a hide, you can do it from belly up to spine too. But this, with the point being blunted and like incapable of going into the gut sac without really messing things up, is nice. I think this is a whole lot nicer than those gut hooks. I've not found that the gut hooks are really all that great. They're kind of a pain in the ass to use, and then you got to sharpen them and maintain them. I don't know of any cheap disposable gut hooks, but I do know that these are cheap and disposable, and they rip through shit like crazy. So I do not use a knife to cut the hide whenever possible, because if you want to dull a blade real good, cut through elk hair, cut through animal hide and hair. It's really rough on blades. So I'll poke the hide, I'll get this in there, and then I can zip this, and these shears don't care. These will hide multiple animals before they'll go bad. A lot less effort to do the hide work with this than it is with a knife or a gut hook, in my opinion. So, and I think it's probably lighter to carry these than to carry some of these ridiculous gut hook knives that some of you guys are about. So yeah, this plus this is definitely lighter than a lot of the gut hook hunting knives that you guys are so fond of. Next to this, I've got game bags. This is a used game bag. I will use this again. I don't care. I've seen people use these like wet packed, sterilized, like antimicrobial treated wet bags. I guess it's extra weight. I've bought them because I couldn't find anything else and used them. I wasn't really happy with them. Definitely not worth the extra money or weight. And I also know that there's gonna be like pine needles and dirt and shit all over this meat, like just through the process of getting this animal taken care of quickly. So yeah, these keep it clean enough. I can dust off or wipe off, or water and wipe off all that stuff. And I guess the luxury of where we are is most of the time, like every single time we're going to have that meat freeze every night. So if not, just freeze and then stay frozen until we get it somewhere where it can hang and actually drip. Yeah, so game bags, quarter bags are the best. The big ass like whole animal bags are kind of a pain in the ass, but a couple quarter bags, like 8 quarter bags for an animal, will get an elk out easily. Nothing really special there. Hiking poles, these things are a lifesaver. I have a system that I use on these where I can quickly link these together, post them in front of me, and shoot off of them like an improvised bipod. More than a shooting aid though, like these, I think these take a significant amount of strain off of my back, hips, knees, and feet in the country that I'm hiking in. So I like them for that. yeah, these are old black diamond carbide tip carbon fiber rods. There's probably a lot cooler, a lot lighter, high-tech stuff now, but these are years and years old, and they keep going. So when they break, I'm sure I'll find something fancier and nicer. But these have been great. Yeah, I like them. I don't want to do big miles off trail at high elevation without hiking poles, especially when it gets like when it snows and then that snow ice is over. I like the hiking poles. That extra stability makes me a lot more comfortable. On my left here, this is my bag. This is the pack that I hunt with. I've got a cover on it. I just sewed my own fleece cover, and it's got a little piece of this shock cord going around it so that it cinches to the bag. The reason why I cover it is so that I'm not getting pine tar all over the bag all the time, because that's annoying. Another reason I cover it is because this is actually fleece, and fleece rubbing up against stuff is a lot quieter. It's a benefit. This isn't going to make the difference. Like the stealth, the fleece is not going to add stealth to the point where it's going to like, you know, never let an elk know that I'm there. I know that. But I'll take it. It's quieter than the actual Cordura that's on there. So I also, here's a big reason why I have this cover on there. This orange panel on the back. If you are a gear manufacturer or like a hunting gear person that is tied into that industry, like, all right, I got a problem. All of the best gear for hunting does not come in blaze orange tops. And where I hunt, you need to have it. And even if it wasn't legally required, I'm fine with wearing bright blaze orange everywhere above the waist on me all the time when I'm big game hunting with a whole lot of people who suck like at doing their due diligence. I'm fine with that. So I wish that this bag actually came in blaze orange, like the whole thing was blaze orange, but they don't make it that way. So I have this cover on there that adds a little blaze orange to it. This is the pack though. This pack is the ULA Circuit. They are a ultralight backpacking company. ULA is great. The Circuit is super lightweight. I think this pack is like, it's something ridiculous. I don't want to say the weight wrong, but it is way lighter than your typical backpack. It is a semi-framed pack, so that means that there's actually 2 arrow shafts in here that they use for the frame on the outside with a bent section of flexible, it's not plastic, but flexible system, a hoop over the top, and then it has one aluminum strut down the center of the pack. So you've got your 2, I think they're aluminum arrow shafts here. You got your aluminum flat strut down the middle, and then the hoop over it, and that adds, I mean, it is just rigid enough to hold a decent load in there. I think they're only rated to like 30 pounds. I can tell you more than, what, 3 or 4 times now, I've had like 75 pounds in this pack. So like, because I'm just putting an entire quarter inside of this bag and hiking out with it, and it holds up fine. I don't do the meat carrier thing. I don't do the whole framed pack. I think it is silly, where I'm hunting, how I'm hunting, to carry around 10 pounds of aluminum garbage that squeaks and bangs off of everything for days and days and days, and then use it like at the last minute. So my strategy is I have this, and then I have a meat carrier. Like I will take a quarter out with this pack, and then I will leave this pack at the car, and then put on my actual meat carrier, like the uncomfortable aluminum frame dedicated meat hauler, and I'll hike back in, and I can get another 2 quarters or quarter out, and all this, the sides, you know, side cuts. Carry a lot more with that, but it's almost always going to be a multiple trip affair. So I'd rather have the light, comfortable pack on me all the time, and then for the 2nd trip in, 3rd trip in, whatever, I'll take the actual meat carrier. On this pack though, I guess I'll just point out, nice mesh front for putting all of, like, that's where I'll put my snacks and my lunch for the day. And then on the inside, all of this stuff goes in. This medical kit goes in this pocket. It does fit. And then all of this stuff here goes in this pocket, which is nice to have right there. The way that I have this pack set up, I'll do a separate video, but I'm not running a sling on the elk pistol. The elk pistol actually direct attaches to this pack. So I can carry it hands-free with the hiking poles, and it sits slung across this pack, slung across my chest, attached to the pack. That's nice. It's nice to have the weight of the gun being managed by the really comfy suspension system that is on the pack. You know, rather than even a really thick padded sling is just one hot spot across your shoulder and neck. Not a fan. If I attach that gun to the pack, then, you know, nice padded shoulders and a big fluffy hip belt to bear that weight. It also works really nicely to balance the pack, because there's weight on the back, and then you put that gun on the front, and there's weight on the front, just kind of like you nerds with the helmets and the nods. You put the battery pack in back to balance it out. So that's how I like to carry stuff. yeah, that's it, guys. You can see in here I've got just some foam inserts on these pockets. Really, that's just to hold these open so that I can easily get the bottles in and out. And bonus is they double as knee pads for me, for my old man knees, when I am actually gonna sit down and dress an animal or quarter out an animal. That's like a little knee pad for me. So that is it, guys. That is all the stuff in the pack. There's not a lot of gear that I take there. I think that all of this put together in the pack, even with water, is like 15 pounds, something like that. That's a big deal to me. Like pounds on your body take away from performance profoundly. So, yep. I'll probably do some more videos like this on just other gear that I'm going to be using day to day as I get closer to the season, because you guys have expressed interest in it. If you like this stuff, let me know. If there's other stuff that you want to see around this, let me know. Please comment. If you think this is dumb, this is straying from what this channel should be, and you want to just tell me, like, stay in your lane, Rhett, just do the weird gun stuff, cool. I'm cool with that too. But I thought, well, I've heard from some of you guys do want this, and I also know that I take a pretty different approach to hunting and how I get in and the gear that I carry than a lot of people do. So I thought it might be refreshing to hear something from a non-FUD, from someone who is not carrying their entire freaking camp around while they hunt. So yeah, there it is, guys. Let me know in the comments though. Thanks for watching.